Good evening, YouTube. I'm Zachary Fowler, and welcome to class number 10, How to Make a Music Montage, and our new class project. Thanks for joining us, guys. And for those of you that are still working on your versus videos, we'll review those at the end. And for those that you have completed them, I'm going to share those either right after this or tomorrow morning or something like that. I'm going to share a community post with the link for the playlist for the classes versus video thing. I still haven't figured out how. I'll wait till everybody's got their versus videos out, and then I'll make a video about our class and what it's all about, and have your links in the description, and shout out some of my favorite parts of what you guys have learned and what you guys have done in your videos, so people can check them out and see how you did. And maybe we'll make it a little bit of a competition, see what people watch them and vote or something like that. Fun to make them have to watch it to get views, so and critique, and we can all learn from that kind of thing. So tonight we're talking about making music montages to be able to get the viewers super sucked in, so that they don't even realize that they're like sucked into it, and that they're watching the first 10 minutes of the video, and they're like, whoa, I just got sucked in, or probably more like the first 5 minutes of a video. I just got sucked in. And the importance of that, as far as, less words at times, the more you can have an international audience. So, because if you put words in, YouTube pitches it to people that speak the same words you speak, and the same, well, not just same words, but the same story you're telling, whether it's survival or just, building stuff or gear review. So music montages in general, any sort of B-roll montage, things like that will help you grow your channel, and it allows you to do something kind of fun. And they're one of my favorite things to do when I'm making a video. So let's talk some more about let's get really down to the nitty-gritty of how that works. I'm going to show you how to edit it, and then after we'll answer your questions. Anybody that's new, let me know that you are new. Shout it out here in the comments. Hey, I'm new. It looks like Howling Hoosier Outdoors. Are you new? I don't believe we have met before, so we'll check out. Or are you from before and we just haven't seen you in the comments for a while? So let me know if you're new, and if you're up for it, we will open up your channel after this and review your channel, see where you're at, and what we could do to help you. And then we will also, at the end of this, we will talk about our new class project, and we'll have a little video off competition. Again, it's all back from a hiatus. Okay. Cool. So let's get into it. Not sure really where to begin with this one. Maybe just a screen share here and show you what we got going on over here. My first suggestion to you in getting inspired about this and learning some more is check out some of these options here. Peter McKinnon Challenge. Check out his right here. Good stories winning wins always. This is kind of like a little short story kind of B-roll competition that he had. Even more like just short story competition. And there's a lot to this. Some of them use a lot of B-roll, some use a little humor, and it's very beneficial. I find just watching Peter McKinnon in general beneficial. Don't let it bring you down to that the fact that he's like super good. I sometimes watch it, I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna hit that level of competency with my filming. It's like it's just so perfect. But be inspired by it, and you can do your own version of that. And that's why I just always tell myself, and I've learned a lot from it. All of these ones right here. Critiquing your videos. These are a great couple of videos. I'll go back tomorrow and I'll add these to the description. So when you guys come back after tonight's class, you can find these linked in the description, as well as I didn't get a chance to find them before this. There's a nice B-roll challenge and some other ones. So I didn't get a chance to find them before this, but there is also really good to search, and I'll put the link in the description. Is watch videos on how to film with in-camera transitions. Now, there's a couple good videos out there on that. I think I can even go to my, where is it, history, and I can show you one of them right off the bat. Oh, we've been doing a lot of work, so apparently it's going to be super. I was working with my dad on this the other day for his school. You know, they have to make these videos, and they're just, this one right here. In-camera transitions, Jesse Driftwood. This is so cool. It's a little hard to follow, and it may be one of those things that you watch now, and then you're like, you come back and rewatch it again. So maybe make a playlist on your own stuff that's a private playlist of video creation ideas, because this whole thing about the whip cut and in-camera transitions, it saves you time with using other transitions after the fact, but it also it makes you think about when you're filming these things and direction and things that make your video and your story flow. It's very good. Because today we're more like, I was thinking about talking about editing your footage of what we have and kind of thinking about that and filming for that. And all that goes along with that. So that's it. We'll do that when we open up the video. So bear with me if it's a little disjointed here. I'm just going to mention a couple things so when you guys come back, you can get to those first off and kind of note these. So we got the free sound. I like this one. There is some music in here and cool little sound effects, and you could download these, log in and download these. It's like a donate site, and you can find all kinds of neat little stuff. So this is where I come more often than not. Even though I pay for royalty-free music, I use the music from this art list. It's extremely expensive, but its searchability for having a good music site to be able to hit mood and pick plus or minus. You know, you want this and you don't want that, and you want that, and maybe you don't want it to be funny, but you want it to be happy. You want, and then genre, you can pick those. Theme, you'll find as you get used to them, certain themes, like, it just, somebody's already kind of decided some of these are better for music or for food or for time lapse. The music just kind of fits with that automatically. It's very helpful to pick out your music and not spend forever. You can hit cinematic, electronics. You can be like, I definitely don't want hip hop. I actually gave them this idea a year ago. I don't know if they had anything to do with me, but I was like, you really need to have the minus buttons. It's very expensive, but it's like $200 a year. And I mean, if you're not making any money on your videos, it's maybe something you feel like you have to make the videos, and once your videos start earning the money, you can do this. There is free music from YouTube. I think that's going away. I'm not even sure where to find that anymore. When you have your YouTube channel open and you go to your YouTube studio, you have access to that. Well, I can't open that up in front of you without blurring out certain things, but you can. There's also other royalty-free music sites out there. So, and that's what you want to look for. It's called royalty-free music. And if you want to try to just get free music, that's the way to win. You look up royalty-free music. All right. So we got a video open here. Final Cut Pro. You can do this pretty much the same thing and everything else. Video has already been edited. This is the bottle cordage, catch and cook fish tacos, sunfish tacos. So there's a couple kinds of montages here. There's this whole teaser thing that I've been trying to encourage you guys to build at the beginning of your videos every time. Let's see. and that's soundless. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you guys hear this? It'd be helpful if you can. All right, so that first montage is, you can't hear it? Well, there really wasn't. All right, how about this one? Can you hear this? Right here. The first one, there wasn't really anything to hear. It was just a series of video clips. So it doesn't surprise me if you can't hear that. The first one was just the teaser for the episode. They're all clips, and if you look at them here, you'll see, as we break down the clips, they're telling the story, obviously, of, taking all this stuff and making some cordage and catching a fish and cooking the fish. This is what's teasing the episode. Now, I like to do this at the beginning of the episode, and some people don't. Like the Wooded Beardsman likes to just hold up a dead animal, and that's how he got a lot of views earlier on, and just be like, today we're gonna catch and cook raccoon. Now I tried to copy him and take, because he was doing so well with that, when I went and did my Texas thing, and I found that, not the Texas thing, when I did my thing with him in Canada, then I found that doing that actually killed, and a couple other videos, it didn't really work well. People like to know what the video is going to be about. So it's basically what you're doing is you're creating a montage at the beginning of your video that's a mini trailer and gets people hooked. They want to see the whole episode. You don't necessarily want to give away too much. And if it's all about making something and catching a fish, then I'll usually go to black, right on the yanking of the fish in, and be like, woohoo, fish on. But if it's going to be about cooking it after, I'll throw in a quick, epic cooking segment. Now, looking at each of these clips, do you need to keep the Artlist subscription to keep music? You don't need to keep the Artlist subscription. Once you're subscribed, you have that for life. That's a good question. You have it for life. It's $200 a year. I don't know if they have it set down now where you can get it for $20 a month and end up paying $40 more. But honestly, I think it's worth it. I don't know if I pay more for it, but I also have the sound effects package. But like I said before, I actually use the that free royalty-free site more than that. So with these clips, you can see that when I click on them, that's 20 seconds long. So that first clip, it just has to be long enough to show what's going on. I try to, when I'm making any montages or any quick moving things, to keep everything under 2 seconds pretty much. All of these front clips here, 2 seconds, 3 seconds at the most, just because it's full of action. And I find that when you add music, that's pretty much it as well. You move on to my teaser, it's the same sort of thing. It's this is all 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. You can even go shorter if shots are very similar. The more similar a shot is, the shorter you can go. Like this right here, it's cutting the bottle, but you're not moving too far from cutting the bottle to stripping some cordage off of it. This is playing with the cordage, and so it's cordage. So you can get away with literally a half a second or 20/10 of a second clip, if the mind doesn't need to figure out what's happening in a shot. Where you lose people is when you go and you make the clips too short, but you don't know what's happening there, because the shot is so far out of the storyline. Like, let's say, this is why when you're watching movies and you kind of know what's going to happen next, it should always be that same way when you're making your stories for your videos and these clips being down shorter. Like, you see a bottle being cut, the next clip is it being cut a little bit more. I didn't jump to, cutting the bottle to like casting some line, because it wouldn't have made any sense. Your brain would take too long to get from here to there. So you need those pieces of the story in there, but you also don't need too many. Like, I could have had cutting this. I could have had tying it onto a hook, and then, heating the knot with the lighter and all this stuff. That would have been too many steps, especially for this quick go. Let's move right along here, and we'll get into musical montage when it comes into this music part. So, we're going to take this out for now and go over the music montage. I'm going to turn the sound down a little bit. Hopefully you can still hear it good when we get into that part. So, we got the story here. Going from clip to clip. As long as there's action in it, even these ones, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 2 seconds, 8 seconds, but this is a lot of stuff happening there that's kind of important. 3, 5, I'm like pushing my own personal limits there. And it's like you don't see many more that are over 4 seconds long. And even these ones, I consider them to be under 4 seconds, even though they're 5, because it's like 2 things are happening. 2 or 3 things are happening. It's like, this is a piece of the story. It comes apart. That's being separated and then separating. So it's like 2 different things happening here. You take it apart, and then you're separating all the pieces, displaying them. So it's like the clip is actually kind of a different piece of the story. So it's not just that the clips are under 4 seconds, that everything that's happening in each of those clips, like, if it tells that piece of the story in 3 seconds, that's that's all you want to use of the clip. And then if the 2 parts of the story are happening quick enough next to each other in the story, there's then you can keep those 2 pieces of the clip together without breaking it up. You see what I'm saying? So think about it in that aspect, especially with today and people's ability to think about things. They want to move things quick. Like, the most popular right now thing is TikTok, and that's based on things that are 15 seconds long, all based on most of the videos are, like, if they're a montage of some sort, they're clips that are all under like 3 seconds long for 15 seconds worth of back and forth, or just a 15-second mimicking something. So, let's go take a step back. Now, as I'm editing this and I'm putting together a montage, I would have my fully edited. Now, this is the beauty of having the GoPro on your chest, because you just film making something. Make sure your angles are good, and you're not trying to move the camera. You're not trying to move the camera around, because it's a quick flowing build segment or something very eventful. So you can just go from one thing to the next. If you're filming this with a regular camera, it's not on your chest, you're gonna have to move from like camera angle to camera angle to camera angle, 1 or 2 shots, zoom in further, 1 or 2 shots. Like, if it's the fire, I'll show you here at the I did pretty much all of this on the GoPro, I think, just so that I wouldn't have to change the camera angles and stuff, and just let it all be. So you get to the end here. So it's back to GoPro-y stuff again. But when it's like this, and it's the big camera, I have a couple shots here, and then I have to go in, change the camera position, zoom in, move it over here by the fire, back to the GoPro on the chest, back to over here on the main camera. You're moving the camera around a lot. So, So when I come to editing these things, I usually edit, like I would edit, say the whole thing, this whole montage is, let's say, that one's like 2 minutes and something long. I usually will edit into the montage and cut the fluff away all the way through, and then kind of edit down to what each piece of the story can be for about a third of my montage, just like editing that a little bit tighter as if I'm hearing some sort of music in my mind. Like, like the clip should just be, there's nothing else to that clip. If you're pulling them out of there, if I had no music, this would still play well and I wouldn't lose people's attention. The bottles are lifted out of there, setting it down, opening that up, and making my first cut on the bottle and testing out the bottle cutter, getting it out of my belt, putting the belt on backwards so it looks unique, and testing out the other one. And now I'm going to start the build process. So I would have edited those clips almost as tight as they are now, but just a teeny bit loose. And this is where I comes into matching the music. Now that I've done that, I will open up my music, and I'll open up art list, and I go and if I haven't already done it because it's a bigger series or something like that, I may have already picked 7 songs after roughing the whole video out, and I bring them in. If not, and it's a standalone video, a lot of times I'll come here and I'll feel like the theme of this, it's kind of a build video. So I'll go mood, I'll go maybe carefree, playful, possibly, maybe not groovy, uplifting. It could be happy. There's nothing wrong with that. And then I'll go maybe theme. I know that vlog tends to be kind of like build it, city, buildings and city, can be a good one for that, for building stuff, and maybe education. And then I'll go genre, and what am I feeling here? Is this feeling country? Is this feeling electronic? I tend to like the electronic and techno-y stuff a little bit. If you do a good job with your music, it doesn't matter what you pick, because nobody will even, they won't complain because it fits so well and you do a good job. Even if it's not their favorite genre music, we're so used to hearing music in everything that happens, you don't even notice it, but it would feel so weird. Imagine if you watch some movies and there just wasn't, like Indiana Jones. How weird would it be? You don't realize that thing is just full of symphony and orchestra. You'd never choose to listen to, some of you wouldn't. I like to listen to classical, but some, never choose to maybe have classical on in your house. But that's full of classical music. The whole entire soundtrack is classical music. So, you could put something like that, and if you did a good job, and even if that wasn't something somebody was into, they would never even notice. But for today, we're going to pick electronic. Now I've selected all these categories and test my music a little bit. I'm looking for something that sounds like building. That kind of sounds good, so I'm at this point, will I be letting it play? There's not enough room on my screen right here to be able to show you guys exactly how I do this, but I go like that, and then I bring it over here, and then I fire up the video. And it doesn't fit. It just doesn't. I don't know if you can hear that music and the timing of it, but I feel like that doesn't fit. And because of the way I've edited the video a little bit, as if there's some sort of music and there's a pace to it, as soon as I go and I put that that music on, I play that at the same time to test it out before I even bother to download the song, I'll say, all right, that timing was not good. So maybe I need to change this settings to tempo to medium. See if I can't find something a little more matching. And then now that feels a little better. That feel like I'm seeing some similarities. There's a couple of beats there that at the beginning that I felt like with minimal work I could line those up. I might even skip ahead a little bit. There's snaps and clicks in there that with the beat of how fast my clips are going, I can match those snaps and clicks up and get that to fit the video very easily. And so that's kind of how I select my song. But let's assume that wasn't the song that I picked and that it actually was this song that we have down below here already. And I'll bring that one back in. And this one's called The Good Life. Oh, wait. Is that the exact same song? Did I just... Okay. Holy cow. That was at random. That was the exact same way I just selected that song. And I didn't really read the name of the song because I was thinking about how to show you this guy's in a concise nature that made sense. I just randomly showed you how to pick a good song for this video, and I just picked the exact same song without reading the title there. I think that's kind of neat, right? That's the exact same song I picked. I felt like it jived with it. And I did notice while I was looking at it here, because you can see that on Art List, that it was highlighted. I have downloaded that song. I did download that song at some point already and use it on a video, or it was in my library that I had downloaded. But I felt that last time was the right song. And sure enough, and no wonder it jives so well and some of the things lined up. That's so funny. That's hilarious. So basically that just shows you exactly what I'm talking about here. Like I felt like when that first part's all edited and now these beats could line up. Now, so I didn't go as far with this one because the way the music played as I do with some. So this is maybe not a great example, but let's say I did want to, and we fixed this one to make it even better than it was the first time, since this was such a huge video and it was supposed to be something I was just whacking out to get a video out there, and I wanted to have some fun without talking and spending a huge amount of time on the video. And that's why I made this video, and I made it in 2 days and put it out there. I didn't want to go insane with the edit, so I picked a song that matched, and then I didn't really make many cuts to line it up. I just kind of let the music flow and the video take care of the work itself. But assuming I did want to, when we're playing it, so there is 2 beats happening here, and you can see. And with just an M in Final Cut, you could be like, there's a beat kind of here. It's like ding, ding. And this one's a single ding. And this one is, you can see the wave form. And I've learned kind of how to read them. So I don't have a good beat or rhythm. Otherwise, you can be really good and you just hit play. And then you just kind of... and you just hit it to the... And as you can see, my timing on trying to hit the beats there on my own is horrible. So I learned how to read the music and put the markers in there on my own without doing that, because I don't have that. If it's if it's more consistent, it's like then I can kind of do it. But otherwise, I'm not very good at it. So I wish songs almost came with these markers in them. Now that would be a cool music site. As you could, if they came with the markers, you can be a little bit off, but the more consistent you are, the better it will be when you're lining up your song to it. So what you want to do here is I would choose where they're gonna, where you're gonna do it, where you're gonna hit. When it's this weird double beat, I tend to go maybe on the second beat. But let's see what it looks like on the first beat if we just literally drag out some of these clips and line them up to these beats to see if it just adds something to the video. Another thing is too is you might not want to line the music up, and some of these beats it doesn't hurt to, instead of lining it up on that, maybe you want the beat to be on the knife opening instead, so that clicking of the knife open right there could be like a double beat. So you got the fold and then the click. So you got the knife, the fold, and then the click is the ding ding. And let's just see real quick. Well, in this instance, I don't feel like it adds that much to it, what I did before, but that is basically how you do it with the music. Go through. If you're good at it, you can find what editing program you have leaves markers, and to leave those marks, and you can make those spots line up to those, and it'll make it so much more magical when people watch your video. Especially it's like a music video when you're doing it. Something like this where you're watching the cordage pulling out, the song might pick up speed. You'll see I do it a lot more of the drone footage. I really do. Those ones I extremely key to the music as much as possible so that it's like ding, ding, ding. Like that would definitely be a cut. I think I got that right here. So that right there was a special part of the music, so I added a pan zoom just so it sounds and matches with it. I don't know if you can hear that. So if it's a matter of feel and practice. As you get going and the more time you spend on it, you're going to feel those moments. And then you're going to piece them together and you're just going to be like, that's so awesome. So other things that you can do to make your music jive with your videos is you can put them in the same song in there. All right. Trying to think of how to say this, but sometimes you can cut your songs to longer. So you might find the most perfect song, but then there's a talking segment. And so let's just say that, what was in red here was actually me talking, and it was kind of an important explanation. But that's happening a third of the way through the song. So you bring the volume of the song down, and let's see, on this, you add a little marker here to your song, a couple markers, and you bring the volume of the sound down to your song. And it would be like, blah, 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 all right, we're here at so-and-so place, blah, blah, blah. And then it's over. You bring the volume of the sound back up. But now, maybe your montage ends over here. And now you've wasted some of that song. So what I will do at that point is I'll cut it, drag this over, align the back end of the song where I want it to be after everything's all cut, and then just drag this back out. and let that music play underneath the things, and nobody will notice because while you're talking that lower amount of sound, that the chorus line or the whatever it is in your video, that it plays kind of twice because it's so low, and if you put it at the right spot, you won't even notice it. We even also at times, like at the beginning, when we want the videos to, maybe like we would take and put a repeating bit of this further back at the beginning, recreating the song in a couple of segments and allowing it to play a riff through. You see, I did that with the 30-Day Survival Challenge a lot. I let some pre-part of the song, I doubled it down so that it played a couple times through a little bit lower and repeated as if that was the original beginning of the song, and stuff. That's stuff you'll have to practice and play around with, but that's definitely a trick to extend the song because you want that song to finish that part of the build or that part of the adventure. So you reduce the sound here and bring it back, or you can even, if a certain part of the build ends, you can just be like, boom, let it end, chop the song, and move some of it over and put a little something else in between. Some people, they will just have shorter segments, and just like in the movies, it like tunes in and plays up for a little bit, and then they just take and you key down the music. You can either hit range or something. You can pick a section if you got Final Cut or other things. All the editing software should have that where you can key your music and bring it down. Just if you're trying to learn how to do this, Google how to adjust my sound levels on whatever software it is that you're using. I use this sometimes to extend a music clip. Yeah, being able to extend a music clip is huge, you want it because it's important too at times, and that's when you really blow people's mind and then get them super sucked in, is when you can end that song on just the right spot. Let's see if we get back and see where it was ended before. I mean, if it ends at just the right spot where it just feels so perfect. Oops, that was a V. This is a weird spot to end, but that's just because the song was long. There's better ones that have hit so perfectly. They end just right where the music is, but they weren't going to end where the music ended, and I started talking. So maybe I even deleted a section. Their songs repeat each other themselves, and so I'll go like this and delete a section and then overlay two of them, and it might take some finagling, but you put like a tapered bit of audio on one, and then that's an audio taper that tapers off your audio, and you put a little bit of tapered audio on this end of it. And let's see if I can play that a little louder so you can hear. I mean, that just took me a half of a second. It's not very well done, but you can barely tell that I mean, with a little bit more work, because it's the same song, you can hardly tell. And there's a lot of times where you can even, the song repeats itself, you delete one repeat, and you'll get that song to end where you want it to, and you drag a couple clips left and right, and you end up with the whole thing playing. I really need to pay for an editor. You don't need to pay for an editor. Just play with it and have some fun. It takes a bit of time, yes, but it's worth the result. You don't have to get all carried away necessarily even. And the thing is, just cueing a certain couple points, the beginning of your song, the end of your song, and some unique points in the song are more than enough to get people like, oh, wow, that was neat, where they just line up. Like just for instance, that, one segment with the drone footage, and it zooms, that one sound, or vlog songs tend to have whooshes, and you put those in a drone taking up and away, and it's like those things add to the video so much. And you can add your own sound effects from that free sound effect things. Those are called transition sounds. Transition sounds make things really fun. If the camera is moving along, you're moving along, adding some sort of transition sounds brings a lot to the video as well. So, for our new assignment, what I want you all to do is to make a video. Find a music place. Those of you that find once you find a music place, let's somebody make a post on the Facebook page and share the links to, this is where I found to get my music from. So you guys can check out some new places. And I'm not very knowledgeable about places that are outside of Artlist because I just haven't bothered to learn them. You could probably just Google that on YouTube, best free music, best place to find royalty-free music. There are royalty-free songs on YouTube that are, like if you want to like have that playing in the background so it doesn't ruin your footage, so you get copyright striked. I haven't tried it, but they are right there on YouTube, and you can download them and use them for free. But I think it's easier to go to a site where you can select the kind of music that you're looking for. Things to think about when you're choosing a song. If you use rock and roll, you want to keep the volume down low. When I'm adjusting a song for music levels, if you see right here, this is -14. -14. What are you doing, Siri? Siri just went all... just butted in. I don't know what I said to bring her around, but this is at 14. Most songs come in at 0. They're super loud. It's too much. I have tried to get the music you can get when you pay for TubeBuddy, but still trying to get the account code. There's music with TubeBuddy? That's a new one on me. YouTube has a music library, but they keep putting up notifications saying that they're going to be removing the music. YouTube Music is going away or something. I thought that was about the YouTube, free YouTube music. But if you're using that, it's like something that everybody has access to and their brothers, so it's just going to sound the same. Artlist, it costs. There's something that's kind of beneficial about that. Artlist costs more. And the thing about that is when, the only people that have that are people that have invested more in their channel. I'm not saying go out and blow your money on this. It's not the time to do that just yet, but it's something to think about, because sound being such a huge part of your video, as soon as your video earns enough money for you to do this, it would be a good investment to dump that money back into that. If you can earn that money to pay for Artlist, it's worth doing, because if you do use something that's on a more popular channel, it's also, those create familiar vibes, just like hearing that favorite song from when you were a teenager and you kissed a girl for the first time. You don't forget those songs, it's like it creates a warm fuzzy feeling every time you hear it, of good memories. So when people hear that same really nice music, they'll either leave a nasty comment saying, you stole so-and-so's music, and you could just ignore them because they're idiots, and or like it creates a warm fuzzy feeling in somebody because they're like, that's part of music I've heard on a channel that I trust, and I can give this guy a chance and trust him, and it creates that familiarity, which is a good thing. So try to find music that's not the free YouTube music. I feel like if anything, that kind of takes away from things. It's been around for so long and it's out there so many times. When I'm listening to my music, what I will do is I will literally like I'll crank it down really low, and I'll see if it sounds good that way, and then I crank it up really high and listen to it that way and see how it sounds compared to the underlying sounds of the job and project that's happening. And I'll kind of listen to them on both levels, and then I'll use that to help me adjust it. It's something that's going to take some practice. It's better to have your music lower than not. So you kind of want to, as you're adjusting your music and you're getting used to it too, you got to go and find a spot where you're talking, listen to that, have your computer adjusted to the right level where it's at like 2/3 audio, and that's where your voice and stuff is sounding really good, and you're clean, and you're not like straining to listen to it. And then go back to your music section and listen to it and be like, does that music sound like it could? And go as low as you can, and then like, it just kind of loses something that low, and go up one more, and you're like, there we go. Now I'm getting the fullness of that audio, and that feels good, right? So you go, okay, and that's where you choose to set your audio level at, and that's why this is at 14. If it's rock and roll, you really want to be careful. You want to go even lower, because the high pitch, annoying electric guitar sounds, they're stronger. They're really a lot stronger. It's not just because I'm saying this because I'm not like a huge rock and roll person or anything, because I got nothing against it. It's just they're stronger and they're more in your face. There's less catching your breath between beats, and each one rolls into the next, and it's like it can become mind numbing. Even if people like it, it's an awful lot. And the one thing you don't want with your video is people having to go up and down, because if they have to work with their fingers because they get to you talking and they have to crank it up, and then they get to a music thing and they're like, and they're in their cubicle at work and they have to crank it down, they're just going to back out of your video if they have to work for watching the video. I think that's a good place to leave it. So let's do a new videos, and I want you guys to come up with some projects. We can workshop some ideas after this if you guys want to throw out some ideas. But I want to do a 5-minute, everybody do a 5-minute video that the first whole segment of the video is your tease, and then your it can be longer, but the first 5 minutes is a tease for your video, a little bit of a musical introduction with one song that's about 20 seconds long of your channel, introducing your channel, clips that cover all the stuff that you've done so far in your life, videotaped things about your life, and that's a musical little miniature montage. And then this will be the thing that you use again and again in your videos for the next 6 months or so. And then it'll go fade to black, and then it'll start some sort of a musical montage of what's happening in your video, the first part of your video, or it could be the entire story of your video. If you go on these places, you can also select the length of the song. This one's 3 minutes long, so we want to pick one. I would say around 3 minutes, and then maybe at the end you go to a bit of a talking bit, or it skips out of that, something happens, and then you bring in another song if you want. But I want to see at least one good, the tease, couple clips that explain what's going to happen, your new channel montage, that like intro, and then a music montage and segment about whatever you want it to be about. And S2Buddy is a partner with Audio Hero. You can register, but after 3 attempts, they have not sent me an attachment code. TubeBuddy can be very difficult when it comes to setting it up to connecting it to your YouTube channel and all these things. I managed it, but like not easily. So anything that you're working at, some of those things can be hard. Newbie question: do you have a credit the music in the description? That's a good question. On YouTube, if you use YouTube, there are some songs that say that they require the credits should be in the description, but that can go anywhere in your description. You can go all the way to the bottom of your description. I believe. I don't believe it says it has to be in the top lines of your description or anything like that. Just pay attention to that when you go to any of those sites. There may be things where it says that you're supposed to here and there. There may not be. And but as a rule of thumb, I don't. I mean, not for Artlist. I have a receipt from them saying that I purchased the song, so I have to send that kind of to YouTube every once in a while when they nail me and they say that this is a copyrighted song. I said, this is not a copyrighted song. I own the copyright permissions to use this in my YouTube videos however I see fit through Artlist, license number, blah, 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 and they have it right there on their site, and I just copy and paste that whole thing in my message back to YouTube. And it always gets released within a couple days, so it's not a big deal. And if you want to use music from something else to try to tell your story, like a little surprise clip, the more popular the song is, the better it is if you only use a smidge of it. Like, trying to think of a good example, because I almost never do it. But in one of Greg's videos we used, he's holding up these giant mushrooms, and he said something about them being, look at the size of these balls. And I couldn't resist, and so we put in like 2 seconds of clip, like we've got big balls, from the, and like just like that was it, like of the song, like just a smidgen of the song. And whenever I add other clips, video clips, I always make sure it's something that I can live without. Because if I get whacked for it and they won't accept it and call it due to the fair use law, which allows you to use movie clips up to like 29 seconds long in your videos, I always stick with under 4 seconds if I do put them in multiple broken ups, maybe no longer than 7 to 8 seconds long. And then I also put them in so that I could just delete them and it won't hurt my video using YouTube editor, because I'm not going to lose my monetization just because, and they will give it away to somebody else. Disney did that to me once, and they wouldn't release the song, and it was just a cheese clip, like Pinky in the Brain, and then there was this other clip about cheese. Cheese is how much they love cheese, and they wanted all the monetization for my whole video just because that couple seconds. So it was, yeah, it was like 2 chords. It was like, I like cheese, and then cheese, Pinky in the Brain, and some other clips. And so some companies, are a pain in the neck like that. And I even did an advertisement. I don't know, probably told you this already, but like for another one, and I was paid for the advertisement and used a clip of their stuff and said that it was a paid advertisement, and they tried to get the monetization on my video. I was like, fine, I'll delete your advertisement. You already paid me to do this. Like, if I want to have my video monetized and you want this video to get views, then you can't mess with it. It's like, why didn't they release it? I don't know. It was kind of baloney. So I deleted part of that advertisement that released the video for the copyright infringement that would have meant that they got the money for the video. So unfortunately, I always cover my back by putting enough content in that it fully explains it. So if those clips have to go away, I can delete them and it doesn't matter. So you can put stuff in your videos that might get you noticed and that say that, like, this is copyrighted. What do you want to do about it? Then you just go in and delete it with YouTube Editor. So don't put it in unless you're willing to do that, and it won't leave a hole in your story. Do you want our voices in it at all? Yeah, be in it if you want to, and stuff. It can even have a little explanation, like, today we're going to go and catch and cook blah, blah, blah. And during your intro montage, it could be like, a little bit of blah, 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 like video clips, and then you being like, I'm so-and-so. This is Sliding with Sasquatch. You're watching Sliding with Sasquatch. Boom, blackout to the Sasquatch thing fading into the first clip of today's video, or whatever you choose to do. And maybe it starts with for sliding with Sasquatch. Maybe his is just, let's just say he's going to do a knife versus another knife or something. You guys could do a versus one. And it starts right out with, sharpening the knife, and it's a music montage. And then you throw those sharpens to the beats where it's like, thunk, thunk, sticking the knife in, and kind of like, and then you don't necessarily have to make it sync the whole way, but take advantage of that beginning, middle, end of the song to try to really cue it into there and then get some sort of a rhythm going, because even if you get a little rhythm going for a teeny bit, people will just mentally hear it like taking mushrooms, they just you think it all jives with the thing, and it's like you'll at least that's what I've been told. Okay, I was young once. Any music seems to go with things, and that's what you can create, that effect with people, the magicalness of like the movie, Fantasia, which is just a musical masterpiece of things just synced to music. Sometimes I have a hard time seeing like a music video because like the music isn't even that well synced to it, at times. UK, the same issue, but got solved with an email. So, let's work on that for our new videos. See if we can't at least come up with a new topic for these montage. We'll call it our learn how to do a montage video. Like I said, edit the first third of your footage, and try to remember that as you're doing it, you want to keep a pace. If you're filming it with the main camera and it's one thing after the next, change those camera angles. Change them as often as possible. That's the beauty of a GoPro on the chest, is like you can change the angle by just doing something different. You're not changing the angle by doing that, but you by just moving somewhere else. All of a sudden the shot is now different. You're moved somewhere else. Whether it's like grabbing some sticks off a tree and you're doing a fire lighting montage with some music, it's like you're grabbing the sticks off the tree and now they're over here, they're getting snapped, and they're this, put the camera in some different positions, so it's like, it's if you're doing something, you got the camera down by your feet and you're walking by it, and then you try to sync up some major beats to that, like 1-2 steps as you're walking past in front of the camera, and so it's like they're little highlights, little things that like there's something that's special that you did that most people don't bother to do in their videos, and people see that and they get it brings them into the mood, brings them into the story, draws them in. Watch those videos I was telling you about as a inspiration, and I'll have Matt watch this tomorrow and add those to the description. And yeehaw. Hello, backcountry runaway. I don't know if you've been here for a little bit. I know you went away. I'm trying to brainstorm a video idea, but one that haven't been done. Don't bend yourselves all out of shape trying to do something that's never been done, because it's actually advantageous to do stuff that has been done. If you copy somebody too closely, and it's like seems like whatever they did is super original, then sure, give them a shout out. But like, I saw this on so and so's channel, blah blah blah. That's why I'm trying it. Things like that. But the rest of the time, if it's like, catch and cook trout stuffed with lemon, and that seems to be showing up all over the place, or like the food chain challenge was showing up all over the place for a little while, that's a smart thing to copy it and not try to do something different just to copy, their thing. A food chain challenge would make such a unique like montage for this. It's, you go down, you gotta, you're rigging up your fishing pole. It's like clip after clip, of just B-roll clips of unique things, putting the pole together, rigging up a hook, moving through the grass early in the morning, finding a grasshopper, hooking it on, catching a fish, using that small fish to, catch a bigger fish, and moving your way, using a bluegill to catch a pike, if you have the ability or know how to do something like that, that's just the food chain challenge, for instance, copying that stuff. Could we combine it with our versus video if we haven't finished that? Yeah, totally. Yeah, take advantage of this and put it together. Don't let you feel like you have to do one thing or another and like lose traction. UK Survival, you kind of already did this. Can you go over the video layout you want us to do again? All right, so video layout is just like, let me switch the screens. Just like we see this here on this one, basically, is what you can even go back and watch. This is probably a great example, is the catch and cook sunfish tacos. Watch this and just kind of watch it for the clips. So at the beginning, with or without music, probably without music because you're going to have some music here, is a 20-second, 29-second for this one. Stick to about 20 or 15 seconds, depending on how much story you have to it. If it's a very simple story, like catch and cook trout, then you're going to have 15 to 10 seconds. It's going to be like a rigging a lure, casting, catching, starting a fire, cooking it, and going to take a bite, and it fades to black, and you're going, oh. And then music will kick in, and you have some sort of a, maybe your channel logo, or just you being like, I'm sliding with Sasquatch. And, and then your little song that you picked for your channel that you're going to be using for a little bit will be like another 15-second montage. I would stay away from 21 seconds. Try to stay for 15 because you guys are new, so people aren't going to be as patient with you. It'll just give them something to skip through, and that'll ruin your amount of watch time, if anything. So you have a little 15 seconds here, or 10 seconds to 15 seconds at the beginning, a 10 to 15 second like intro of introducing yourself, of who you are by showing you saying something, like introducing who you are, and then clip with a little bit of music, and then music tails off. This is where it comes very useful to use literally the end of a song sometimes for this, just so that it's like kind of like and then the song ends. This one doesn't have the song ending here. I just add the motorcycle thing to break the song off. Fade to black is a transition, so that way it's obviously something different is happening. That fade to black real quick transition is very helpful, so that it's like now we're restarting on some new thing, so that it's not like the continuing of this story here. And then do a 1 song long montage. I would say you want to stick, 2 minutes and 30 seconds to, 3 minutes and 30 second song. And, if you want to be clever about it and at some point, it stops, or even right here, this could be like you talking like, today we're going to, you already saw it at the beginning, so maybe you don't need to say that, but I'm on my way up to, and you're in your truck, I'm on my way up to the falls to see if I can't pull a trout out of there today. Let's do this or something, and then it goes like, opening and closing the truck door, moving, driving, wheels turning, camera out the window beside, showing the wheels spinning, music, playing that story out, maybe even cut somewhere in the middle, like we talked about the music going down, but a full, good, long, at least 3 minutes worth of music story, more than anything else, is what we want to see. And if you want to be a little more creative with that and have some talking that mixes in and show, that too, then go for it. And then you can either, that can be the majority of your video, or you can break for some talking and some showing off, explaining, and then go into one more musical montage, or have it being more of a talking thing towards the end. But that's important, is that basically what you built for this video gets you into at least 4 minutes into the video, and you've had minimal to no talking and drawn people in, is what we're working on building. So, let's see. I still want to see the truck stop stealth video with catch and cook chili. Can you go over the yeah, so we did that and we did that. And let's say well, at least 4 minutes, from beginning to end of the montage. I mean, if you find a song that's shorter, that's one thing, sure, but that's what we're shooting for. And just to give you an idea of it, it takes, I don't know, it probably took like probably a 40-minute, 35-minute build and being creative to get, plus the drone footage, plus the arriving on the scene, just to fill in the story for a 3-minute and 7-second long thing. So, and that's just so that I can make sure that the clips were short enough that the story pace moved along. So if you're going to do that and fill out a whole song with a properly sped, like short enough clips, you're going to need... Oops. Did I lose you guys? Are we still connected? I like my screen had gone away or something. All right, so yeah, the video could be normal length. If anything, it's better that your video is 10 minutes long, the whole thing plus. But yeah. So, okay, I don't know what happened, but on my side of the screen, like all my whole thing closed out, and I had to like click back into it. So I don't know if it went blank for you guys for a second, or if I just was like, what? So yeah, let's make that our new goal in class project. For those of you that haven't done the versus video, or you're just working on it still, maybe that could be part of it. And keep in mind, you're gonna have to film a lot to get that. If you're, I mean, that's literally an entire cooking segment. Starting, not just cooking, but from starting the fire to whatever. It's like that's a lot of filming, a lot of stuff. It doesn't have to take that long, but if you're starting a fire and cooking something, that would literally be, could be like 2.5 hours worth of work, cooking, making the fire, cooking, showing all the different little aspects of it as each little piece as much as possible, and then you'll be cutting all those up into 2-second to 1 to 4-second long clips that go sort of to either the speed of the music or to the beat of the music, one of the two. And we'll review those, and I'll give you tips on it and see what we can do, and you guys can go back and re-edit those until we decide to drop them. So, does anybody have a video ready for review this week? Linked in the community post right now. How did tonight's video do? Not very good. Oh well. I was kind of hoping the slingshot versus Red Ryder BB gun would take off. So a lot of the other slingshot versus ones take off, but not right away for some reason. Hopefully it doesn't damage the Waterworld when it comes out Friday, but whatever. Whatever. Let's see. Sort by... I don't know. Why does it say I have 2 comments? Oh, they're there. Oh, Tyler's got his video.
There we go. Yeah.
I would say at the beginning, I know this means something to you, but to people that don't know you and don't know anything else, they don't know why you're opening a package. And so whenever we're making a video, we want the thumbnail to match as much as possible that first clip of the video, because that's why they clicked on it, is to see what's in the thumbnail. So if the first clip of the video is just your face and your face wasn't in the thumbnail, you made a great thumbnail the other day, and I'm not even sure how to find our class page without clicking on one of your guys's comments. I don't know why I can't seem to figure out on my Facebook page why it trying to see if I can get there from here. I can only find it through this thing because it's private, so it like I don't have a link to it for some reason. Except through notifications. I probably already scrolled past it. There we go. If I click on that, I can get there. There we go. Some new stuff on here I haven't seen. Got the old... That's a great one. Wrestling the generator versus something lighter. Where's your thumbnail stuff? Okay, so Tyler put this up the other day. Those of you who haven't seen it, we got the fish and he's stuck in the trap. I would say, my suggestion was to get rid of this, like, putting fish trap or something like that. Mouse trap catches fish. I kind of like that better than anything else. And maybe even having this zoomed in more would be great. And then like when the first clip of the video comes, it's like snap, and then he's holding the fish up. Don't show how it happens necessarily, but that resembling the thumbnail and resembling the first clip of the video is very important.
Rocky Mountain Bushcraft? Greg Ovens. Rocky Mountain Bushcraft. What's Rocky Mountain Bushcraft?
Hi, I'm Greg Ovens, and this is Ovens Rocky Mountain Bushcraft.
Alright, let's go ahead and cross this river, guys. Some food today. I brought an MRE. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make fire where I was going, so I could just use an MRE, but now that I know that I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and get a fire going and get shelter set up, and that way tomorrow morning I can catch some awesome fish. So this is going to be one whole video, so make sure you guys keep watching because it's going to be awesome.
So
while the fire is going, I'm going to go ahead and prep my food, eat that, hunker down. I'm going to start recording first thing early in the morning. As it's getting late. I still got a lot of things to do, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get those done, and I will get this all going.
I like that music for that.
And sure enough, I did that. Down below, I think we got a that Greg used. Wow, that's right. The mousetrap that Greg used on how to catch a fish video. I'll link that description down below. I think we caught a beautiful trout.
Yep. There's another one.
Alright, so as you guys can see here, so on part of this, Greg has his string attached to where you would put like the peanut butter or whatever you want to put on that little pad right there, and it goes on that underneath the board onto this knot right here, and then down from that knot comes the hook, and then on the other side of that it goes up here through another hole that is tied on to this bar right here, which is what is spring loaded, and it snaps back, so it'll snap back, it'll snap back, it'll snap back, and it'll yank that line and jerk it, and it'll end third. So we're gonna do that same concept because it works so well for him.
I don't know what happened there, but there was a little, like, your explanation was perfect, and then you got two pieces of music audio overlaying each other. They just kind of like ruined the finishing explanation. So it sounded like you were saying it springs up and it jerks the hook and sets the hook. And that's one thing that, like, right here, your explanation here did so well. Love the dirty fingernails. I think that's great. I like to have dirty fingernails in my videos. It shows that you're actually doing something. Except for right now, mine are all trimmed off, numb. But so, like, that explanation, like, Greg failed to even fully give that explanation in such a manner that was, like, so concise. Like, what you've done there is you've shown it to a level that, like, Greg never did, and anybody can understand. He showed it to a level that somebody that's clever can understand what he's explaining without clips being fully explainable, like, explained, like, with the video. He explained it, but it wasn't explained in a way that a layman can. So you already got something good going on there. Now there's two schools of thought. I'm not saying go change everything on your video, but when you're building a video like this, there's two schools of thought. If it's something that could be a 1 million view video, this one has a lot of story before it gets to it. And people that are clicking on it because they're, like, super psyched about it, they're going to, and this is what we went through with Greg's videos. We deleted actually like 5 or 6 minutes, maybe 7 minutes worth of stuff in the beginning of the video that in the end we decided not to add because we wanted people to get right to the point of the video. So leaving all this content in that's building your story of who you are and what you're up to and how you're mixing this with an adventure and stuff like that tells an awful lot to the person who's watching, that, like, it's interesting and they might want to subscribe and be part of it. Whereas, like, you're making a video that might just be viral, you would, like, stick just to the point, you barely introduce yourself, and you get to exactly what's happening. Now, a good example of this is where it's kind of a fail. Is like, I did putting the GoPro on the lobster. It's got 400K in views, but it took forever to get those views, and it never took back off again. Because I went and I caught fish, and then I put fish in the lobster traps and picked a lobster for it, and I didn't get to the actually putting the GoPro on the lobster till like 7 minutes in. If that's all I had done is just put the GoPro on, built a little GoPro saddle, put it on the lobster, put the lobster out there, and showed all kinds of footage, I really feel like the video probably would be at like 7 million views. But I failed to do that, and I blew my chance at more views. Not saying you should go re-edit your whole thing, but there is something to consider that there when you're making your videos. So
So as soon as they get a bite, chugs it, and voila! They just whips it. Whip it! That lure actually came up and got my finger, so it jolted. Oh, that's definitely a snag of fish if the fish bites on.
this is great with the music. It's hard to pick music with words in it that fit, and the way the weather contrasts with the it's like way rougher than the music is. That's kind of a neat thing. I think that's a really good part to it. There is a lot of story here. I think that's really good. The only thing I could see that maybe isn't working to your advantage is it might not be working to your advantage is all of the story before that, which are beautiful stuff. So, but like they don't match up with what's going on later. I almost feel like in your case, I hate to say this, but I think it should go. I literally feel like this video would do better if it went right from this Greg Ovens Outdoors bit. You know, like Greg Ovens Outdoors to you in the truck. Like talking about getting this from Greg Ovens and how now you're going to try it. Because I think that's, you're going to see this huge fall off in this, musical montage and setting all your stuff and, setting up your hammock and all this stuff. Because they clicked on it to see this. And that, none of that is, if it was called solo overnight, fish catching and stuff, I know, it's like, I hear you. I'm sorry, Trav. It's like that's like there's gonna be this huge fall off, and then you're not gonna get larger amounts of watch time. People are gonna skip ahead, and then the thing is when people start to do a skip ahead, they get in the pattern of skipping ahead. So you could honestly, it could go either way for you. You could choose to leave it in there, but at the same time, you may end up with like 30% more people staying on if you just focus on the trap and getting into the trap adventure a lot quicker. What about breaking it into 2 videos? That's probably what I would do, is I would pull that other stuff off and and then use some of that somewhere else or something. I mean, it's it's like it seems a shame to do, but I almost feel like it's a difference in getting 30,000 views over the next year and this having your 700K in views over the next year, with that thumbnail and the fish stuck in the trap like that. There's a possibility of nailing 1 million views the way Greg did, and if that means losing a little bit of your work, or using it somewhere else, recycling it even next year to go on the beginning of some other video. I don't know. So, but at the same time, you could leave it in, and I could be completely wrong. It's a hard thing. It's a hard sell. But like I said, the lobster one, I killed my own momentum there by putting too much story in it. Because I'm like, I want people to watch this and it to get millions of views. And then because they fall in love with the storytelling, they will subscribe, and it's a subscriber video, but I put too much stuff in that wasn't about the clickbaitable, very clickable thumbnail, and so it went to a certain point and then it just died because of it, because it didn't have the large amount of watch time. Too many people were skipping through to get to the point of the video to see how that lobster and what the footage looked like when the lobster was underwater, and so they just blew the video apart, broke it apart, and ruined it. It's all their fault. It's not my fault for trying to make them stay on there longer than they should have had to. So there you go. That's what I think you could do to make it way better. I mean, 11 minutes long, and it's telling the story. It could be pretty good. All right. Backcountry Runaway had a couple questions here. It says, a month. I was fun and stressful. Thanks. I guess survival video. Good idea. Thinking of doing a hiking and survival video. Good idea. How I survive a breakdown. He's looking for a video idea. Anybody got any good ones? Any good video ideas? I think just breakdown survival. Showing a tire off of your vehicle, and do it. Even stage it for your thumbnail. Tires off the vehicle. Hot sunny day look to it. Breakdown survival. Are you ready? Or prepared? That could be huge. I saw that UK survival. I saw yours is out. Is that what you got up here? Yeah. That turned out really good. Those 3 people now have their survival video. Their not survival. Their versus videos out. Check those out. They've shared them on our Facebook page. For those of you who haven't joined us yet, head on over there to... Why is it not... Oh, there it is. The link is in where? The community post? I'll put it down below the video and stuff again, too. Make sure you tune back in to tomorrow to see the video links that I mentioned. I will update the description of this video with some more class links of homework for you guys to watch. Start thinking about videos. And let's say if you think your videos are ready to launch them Friday night or Saturday morning, so they have the weekend for people to get views on. And then I'll do another update again next week on whoever's new. I think it's pretty good that right now in the playlist from our class, there's only 3 people. I have that Sliding with Sasquatch, UK Survival, and Common Family Survival. Your videos are out, and I will share that community post to give you guys some views. And then you guys put Tyler... tune up your video to where you like it to be. If you don't want to remove that because I said so, then that's up to you. But that's my best suggestion so far. It would kill me to have to delete that chunk of my video, but I think at this point, after everything I've seen, I would do it to myself. Kit Survival, and if there's anybody else, I think that pretty much covers it right now for the Kit Zero. Pop yours out Friday night or Saturday morning, and next week I'll put out a community post and throw yours out there for everybody to see, and so we'll do some analytics looking at your videos. In fact, should we do that right now? What time is it? It's been an hour and a half. Let's just take a quick peek at Let's see, community post. Got that thumbnail turned out great. Now, sliding with Sasquatch. There's your video. The thumbnail still, it's losing something in the verses. You lost your verses a little bit because of the lightness. But those axes and stuff look so much better. And if you're gonna use that yellow with it around it, I think they need like a little black border or something. They're kind of blending into the background a teeny bit, or throw a drop shadow or something like that on it. Otherwise, I'm saying that's working pretty darn good. And the video itself, $30 Fisker hatchet versus stainless bargain one. You see your rank for your stuff here. Bargain hatchet got number 26. Hatchet versus hatchet. I can't see anything wrong with what you put in for your titles and description. If you have TubeBuddy, you could go through and you could delete some of these that definitely aren't going to key for you because they're not in your title or your description here, and delete some of those and see if that brings some rankings to some of these. One thing you want to do is with longer word combinations, like I would literally put in the entire length of your title down here as part of your tags, and then even pieces of the title for your tags, like $30 Fisker hatchet. Fisker hatchet versus, I don't see one here. Is there? Or is this, yeah, straight up, like breaking your title up. Fisker hatchet versus bargain hatchet versus stainless steel hatchet. Stainless steel bargain hatchet, you know. Try to keywords on more of those and remove any of these hatchet throwing, axe throwing. None of these titles that aren't part of your actual title are ever going to rank for anything. So you've wasted a little bit of space on adding words that won't help your video get found. So that's what we want to think about when you're adding those words. And maybe some of those new words might get you a number one rank for one of those if you get lucky. UK Survival.
This is Bushcraft versus Survival.
Nice having that with throwing the primitive skills in there. That's pretty smart. UK Survival, having your titles as one of your tags, guys, that's a great thing. Your name or your channel. Outdoors, no, that's not really it. It's not part of your title, and it's not part of your description. It's not gonna get you anything. Let's see if I'm wrong. And okay, so you got Bushcraft versus Survival 23, and Survival versus Bushcraft they didn't give you, but Bushcraft versus Survival 23, that's pretty good. Get rid of EDC, budget survival gear. Get rid of any of these things that don't match your title and aren't some play on your title. So, primitive survival skills should be one of your tags in here. Do you have that in here? Nope. So start adding tags. Add Bushcraft versus Survival with primitive skills. 1. Bushcraft versus primitive survival. Primitive survival skills. Primitive survival skills versus primitive skills versus survival skills. Survival skills versus primitive skills. And add a whole bunch of those to your, if you have TubeBuddy, add a whole bunch of those down and then start back at the top and delete anything that's not one of your exact combinations of this up here. And you delete outdoors, budget EDC, budget. I'll get rid of all those until you see if that brings some of these ones that you add in and these combinations that might bring rankings to them, and it might even, because these are more similar to this bushcraft versus survival, it might mean that boom, all of a sudden that one gets number 5 or something like that. It brings those rankings up because you're narrowing your focus. Our narrow focus is what's going to get YouTube the ability to better place those videos, better ability. Yeah, because that's the thing, is when you first launch your videos, you may have been number 3. But if it doesn't get a huge amounts of views right off and stuff like that, you won't retain those positions. I rank number 1 whenever I put out a survival video for the first 24 hours usually, but then I lose that position unless it really is rank worthy to retain that position. It gets bumped down to, either right off the chart, because that's almost impossible to stay up there, unless you're, it's like one of my 30-day survival challenges, day 1 kind of thing. So work those down to their narrow focus that's just about the title in different formations of the title. You can even add one extra word onto it here and there, but until you've utilized all of those in as many different combinations as possible, you don't want to move away from that, or you don't want to add, like, if it's a really popular, you may, like, how to survive, you could try, but unless you've used up all the other combinations of other things, you don't want to try and throw how to in there, because it's not something that's part of your title, description, things like that. The odds of you ranking for it, unless you're already ranking number 1 for bushcraft versus survival, they're not going to give you something that's a little bit off, if you see what I'm saying. And pyro putty. All right, so as far as I can tell, you guys' views are doing great in reference to your channels. It looked like there was a lot of comments. People were pretty into liked the quality of your work and what you had done. And let's see. Excellent job on okay, so you got really long tags, which is very good. And so you've managed to rank pretty high for them. The amount of people actually searching for Pyro Putty versus Mini Inferno is probably going to be pretty low. So I would delete if you can and get what you really want to rank for is Pyro Putty. Maybe try, do you already have Pyro Putty Fire Starter 23, Mini Inferno Fire Starter number 6. Those are really good. There's not a lot you could do with this except for get rid of any dead weight and try some other combinations. Really being able to rank for Pyro Putty, Fire Starter, something like that, would be good. So that's a really good pile of rankings there. Just having those as number 1, even if that's not a huge thing that somebody searched for, that's a good way to be tailed on behind somebody. Pyro Putty puts out a video, or somebody else puts out a Pyro Putty video that gets a lot of views. I can almost guarantee you that because of those rankings right there, you're going to be, like, if not the first one suggested behind them when they're searching for it, or you'll be right up there. And that's a perennial. That's what I would consider as perennial links right there for getting more views and people seeing it, and at least having the chance to click on it, and it going and continuing to tick over some sort of a consistent amount of views for a long period of time. So I think that pretty much does it for us. If anybody else has any questions, you got about 3 seconds before I say see ya. And good night, and thank you guys for joining us. And I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Let's go on that Facebook group If you haven't already joined it, don't invite other people because it's private but open to just us, so that way it doesn't get confusing. And somebody start a thread for me. You're better at spelling than me. Anybody is. And somebody start a thread for new video ideas. Let's workshop some ideas around between you guys, and I'll get on there and see what I can't help you narrow the focus. And for your video montage ideas. And if you are still preparing or about to film your versus stuff, then we can. That turned out really good. That's such a great thing that so many people struggle with in the campers. So that's such a good thumbnail for that. That whole thing. Light versus miserable heavy, and dragging that thing around. Yeah. So good night, all. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one, and we'll talk on Facebook here and there throughout the week, hopefully. And yeehaw, good work, guys. Let's keep it up. Fowler out.